You ever just get to a chapter of your life where you're like, I am so numb. I don't want to feel anything good. I don't want to feel anything bad. I just don't want to feel. I just don't want it. 20 years ago, I had my first child, and her name is Jada. And I remember Jada must have been 7 months old, and I was living with my mom and dad. My boyfriend had dropped me off at my parents' house with a truck and all of our things. And so I was kind of stuck there sleeping on the couch, and I didn't know where to go, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I just felt so lost. You ever just be in a moment where you feel so lost? The only challenge is that my lostness wasn't forcing me to start looking for life. It was just putting me in a place of saying, I really don't want to do anything. I don't want to live, and I don't want to live. I'm tired of feeling. I'm exhausted of feeling. And I feel like I'm exhausted. I was exhausted by feeling because everything that I was being fed spiritually, physically, mentally, it was just bad. It was so bad. It was bad for me. It was bad for my daughter. It was just bad. It was bad because life was all about what couldn't happen and nothing about what could happen. No family member or person around me was cheering me on. They were actually just looking at me with disgust. They were looking at me with disdain. They were looking at me with disappointment. They were looking at me with I can't be bothered. And it really made me feel bad because it was another level of me feeling like I wasn't enough, And what's crazy about it is that there was this moment when I said to myself, I don't want to feel because I'm exhausted by it. And in that moment, I don't want you to think something miraculous happened. I just had this moment with my daughter where I looked at her and I was like, well, if I go, where will you go? Fast forward, I understood this principle that in this life, you're either growing or you're dying. There's no in between. You're either alive or you're not alive. You're either moving forward or you're not. And that's the essence of living a do the damn thing life. And I began this process slowly, right? I get all the way here 20 years later, but I began this process of making sure I was feeding myself the best. And I was feeding myself things that make me feel alive, feeding myself things that made me alive, that forced me into living. Those chips are not mine. Neither are these. These two are my daughter's. Don't you dare think for a second. But I want you to look at the groceries that I got for the house and for myself. Yeah, I got some new jars, but there's tons of tomatoes and pineapples and potatoes and, everything here is alive. Even that soda is some cane sugared soda, and here's cloves because I'm going to make clove tea. Now, the whole point of me showing you this is this is what my groceries look like when I go do a food haul. When I go and do groceries for the house, everything that I eat is alive. And my rule is that 80% of what goes in my body for the week has to be alive. 80% of what goes in my body for the month has to be alive because I'm trying to get somewhere and I need every bit of myself to get there. I can't afford to feel tired. I can't afford to be weak. I can't afford to slow down. I can't afford to be slowed down. But I'll tell you what, one of the greatest things about feeding myself things that are living is that it forces me to want to live harder, bigger, better, stronger every single day. And I love it. Oh, that's my daughter.